One more time with feeling. I got the fire behind me. We know it's your TV, Tom. Yeah, it felt like having a Manhattan. It'd been a little bit since I'd had a Manhattan. And in all honesty, mostly because this puncher's chance is so good. Set that down for a second and grab the bottle here. I thought it would work great as a Manhattan. Add cask strength at 57.6 or 152%, or proof rather. There we go. This stuff is absolutely gorgeous. I did have some need a little while ago to do a video, as you know, but I wanted to try it as a Manhattan. I didn't really feel like putting it on the rocks, in all honesty. But I did want to have a Manhattan. So here's how I have this one set up, using my Jim Beam glass, which is perfect. Actually, it's a neat drinking glass, but it works perfect for a Manhattan, for me anyway. 3 ounces of the bourbon, 1 ounce of cream sherry in place of sweet vermouth, and cherry bitters. Here's what. Let me show you the cherry bitters. Here's the Fee Brothers cherry bitters, and the cherry I'm using. The main reason I went with bourbon for this one with the puncher's chance rather than a rye was, again, because of the cherries. I just had to pick these up for something different. Collins cherries, in my opinion, are every bit as good as those others that cost a lot more. But again, they're just a little bit more inexpensive. Collins bourbon stem. I typically might unstem for the cocktails, but uh, I saw these and I wanted to try them. So there we go. It was the Collins cherries. I do have this served straight up, which means I've chilled it, but there's no residual ice left in the glass. I use the cherry bitters because I want to focus kind of like a cherry Manhattan, if you will. Oh, goodness. Oh, my Lord, that's tasty. Yeah, that's good, man. That's really good, man. Oh, well, that really is good. Oh, it's funny. Sometimes, something as small as bitters can change the drink. Uh, what's the word? I don't know. You just can change the drink. Yeah, funny when if I were you to use traditional bitters, yeah, it would take a different direction. I've been using a lot of black walnut bitters during the wintertime, and that takes it somewhere else. But with the cherry and the cherry bitters, really makes it something else. That makes it a festive little cocktail. Makes it a festive little cocktail anyway. Let's launch it. Cheers. Prost. I'll throw them all at you. Gosh, that's gorgeous. I do love me a Manhattan. I've been making a lot of old fashions lately. I tend to change up my simple syrup from time to time. I was really feeling the old feeling of Manhattan, and over the last few months, I've decided that once I ran out of sweet vermouth, I haven't replaced it. I've just been using cream sherry in place of, and I really do like that swap out. There's a reason you use that sweet vermouth because it does add some sweetness, but it also adds some acidity. But I feel like the cream sherry does the same thing with a different flavor, and I personally prefer it. And I've done different things with Manhattans over the years. I mean, I've used uh, Amaro in place of the sweet vermouth. I've used various things in place of the sweet vermouth. But the cream sherry, I feel, works very well. And you can buy whatever cream sherry. I mean, the same thing with sweet vermouth. Buy the quality that works for you. You don't have to necessarily go uh, bottom shelf, but you don't need to go all the way to top shelf either. Oh gosh, that is absolutely gorgeous. That's a cocktail, baby. That's a freaking cocktail, my friend. That is good, man. I don't care who you are. That's tasty. That's tasty, man. That's just tasty. Oh gosh, that's good. Getting warm here, sitting in front of the fire. It's not a real fire, Tom. No, it's not, but it is warm. It does get warm here. Maybe it's a mental thing. I sit in front of the TV, man, it gets a little warm. Uh, anyway, that's the idea. You get the fire going. But there's no mess when I have the TV fire, right? There's no mess, no muss, no fuss. No muss, no fuss, baby. This Puncher's Chance, though, man, I gotta tell you, this stuff is insanely good. Wow, and you don't really feel that proof, man. I mean, no, you feel it, but yeah, you don't necessarily taste it. Wow, it is big. It's big. It's bold. Very spicy, very sweet initially, very spicy. So I did think it would work well in a Manhattan for those reasons because of the spice it has. You don't want to. So, in my opinion, a wheated bourbon doesn't work in a Manhattan. I don't think it works well in an old fashioned either. Although I know a lot of youngsters like to use it in an old fashioned because it's too sweet. Wheated bourbons are they're sweeter than a traditional bourbon, and then you're adding simple syrup and everything else. I think wheated bourbons make the drink too sweet. So if you're going to use bourbon in an old fashioned or a Manhattan, again, in my opinion, you really need to use a traditional bourbon that uses rye as a secondary because you need a good spicy bourbon. For balance, if you will. Oh, mercy. Mercy. Mercy, mercy me. Oh man, that was good, man. That's delicious. Drank too much beer yesterday. I was having a hard time yesterday. I haven't been getting out to my brew pubs as much as usual. Even when my wife and I went out, we actually hit. I did hit two breweries, but we hit a winery where we spent most of our time during my break or my vacation or PTO or whatever, my little holiday. Yeah, yeah. I've been drinking more wine. Yesterday, I drank a lot of beer, and then I topped it off with Mexican food. Man, my belly was just hard as a rock. So now we're having we're having a cocktail here. More or less a classic Manhattan. Again, the swap out is sweet vermouth. Sweet vermouth is traditional, but I'm one of those folks that believe cocktails recipes were not handed down from God to Moses on stone tablets. You can change some shit around a little bit. And I like the swap out of sweet or of a cream sherry rather. So, anyways, I need to wrap this up because I hear something. Here's something. I'm Tom the Whiskey Whisperer, Whiskey Evangelist, Club Whiskey Drinker, Pervert Wisdom Man. All around good guy. Cheers.